What's going on, guys? Chandler here. So this is going to be my new segment on my YouTube channel called First Listen Review that is taken from my $5 tier full album reactions. So I react to the entire album, and then at the very end I give my overall thoughts and initial thoughts and a score on the album as a whole. So again, if you do like what you see and want to support the channel going forward, head over to patreon.com/ChandlerBurtonEntertainment. This is exclusive to the $5 tier. Again, you get a full album reaction, review, and a whole bunch of other perks as well if you guys are interested. And again, there's always a link down below in the description and in the pinned comment. But with that being said, I hope you guys enjoy the review, and thank you all so much for watching. Alright, my friends, so again, the band Dead Legs and their new album called Daydreamer, their debut album. I can't imagine how nerve-wracking that would be. I remember watching an interview with Cody from Wage War. I know other people have said it before as well, but you know, they always say like you have your entire life to work on your debut album. So, you know, obviously you want to make a good impact, you know, with the first album. But again, it's always nerve-wracking because it's like, what if people don't like it? Is it going to be one of those things where the band's just going to fall off or those types of things? But from the singles that I've heard from this band so far, I think we're in for a pretty good treat. So really excited to hear it as a whole. So again, I've reacted to all the singles, so I'm excited to hear it in the entire package. So again, the band Dead Legs and their album Daydreamer. It's about a 37-minute album. Let's go ahead and pop it off here in 3, 2, and 1.
A few moments later.
That was so weird because again, they put out a visualizer called Drown Me Out twice, but they put it to the song Deceiver. That was the title, but they were playing the song Quicksand from what it sounds like. So there was some kind of miscommunication there when it came to the visualizers. So if you're wondering why my first listen review looks like this in the beginning, that's why. I had to go on YouTube and look at the last song because the other song, the last song that Sharptone put out did not match up. So I gotta like tell them because I was like, dude, yeah, that was kind of weird. So we just jammed the entire album here. I'm excited to definitely talk about it. So let's go ahead and jump into the first listen review, and that is coming up next. So stick around for that. Alright, my friends, let's go ahead and talk about Dead Legs and their debut album, Daydreamer. Again, we just got done jamming the entire thing. This album was pretty okay. Like, I wasn't blown away by it. I wasn't like, it's not going to change my life, but there are definitely some good things in it here, and some things that some cons, I guess you could say. So, let's go and start off with the pros. I would say pro number one is that I really do like the atmosphere of these songs. Like, this album is designed for you to go out on a late night drive and just go think about life. So again, like the atmospheres of the song, really, really cool. Definitely has a lot of pop influence in there that I think a lot of people will definitely enjoy. I would also say number two is that the vocals on this really carried the songs. One of my cons, and I'll kind of just give it away now, is that there's just not a lot of variety on this album, but the vocalist, I forgot his name, but he is really, really good. Whether he was kind of rapping, you know, just his singing definitely felt like something that was a little more accessible, I think. And so again, I think the vocals really carried this album all the way through. I thought they were really, really good. I would also say number three, that there is something on here for everybody. I think that somebody, whether you're a fan of like, you know, smaller like rock bands or huge fans of like the modern day music, which is like, you know, of course it's just pop music that you hear on the radio, I think everybody's going to find something that they enjoy about this album. Like, I know some people are going to listen to this here and they're going to think like, dude, this is awesome. I don't know why Chandler's complaining so much. I'm not trying to complain, but like, I feel like a lot of people will find some enjoyment in this album because it is very straightforward and it is very, very simple. And I'm a very straightforward and simple guy myself, but I do think there is something in here for everybody. So that's, again, that's a huge plus, that everybody, I think, could find something on this going like, you know what, that wasn't that bad, I'll add it to my playlist. So that's pretty cool. And I'll say the last pro that I really liked about this album is that there's a lot of mental health focused lyrics on here. It talks a lot about depression and anxiety and kind of how to push forward in life. And I think when I go on a nighttime drive personally, I always try to think of ways to like improve my mental health, and that way I can get better as the days go on. And so for me, like, I really enjoyed the lyrics on this album as well. I thought they were really, really good. So as I mentioned during my pros, I do have a couple of cons with this album. I would say, again, number one, this album, it just doesn't have a lot of variety on it. Now, I know like a lot of people are going to be like, who cares? Like, it sounds fun, it's a good time. But again, for me, like I look at all the music that's coming out this year, you know, even stuff like on Sharp Tone, you know, like, you know, Currents and those types of things where there's a lot of variety in those new Current songs. I think they're really, really cool. But there's like with this one, it's like, I mean, every song is just like, it just kind of sounds the same. Like it's also very predictable, which is another one of my cons, is that like, you know exactly what you're going to get in every song. Like, you just know, like after the first couple of songs, you start to realize like, okay, there's nothing crazy is going to happen on this here. And I know like with pop music, like it's not designed to be like anything, you know, crazy. A lot of the music on the radio sounds the same. So again, I'm kind of playing devil's advocate here, but I wish there was like a little more variety. I'm not saying they need to add screaming or anything like that, but maybe adding more like electronic parts to their songs, or, you know, having the instruments have a little bit more in the forefront, because again, I felt like the vocals really carried every single song on this album. But again, those are just a couple of cons that stuck out to me. Overall, the album was okay, but those are just a couple of things that kind of weighed me down a little bit. So my top 3 favorite songs from this album, I would say number 1 is going to be Quicksand. I thought they did a really good job with that one here. As I was saying, the atmosphere on that song was really, really good. Like, I love how it kind of just stayed chill for the majority of it here, but it didn't go into like that generic riff that they kind of had throughout the album. It kind of just stayed where it was at. So I thought they did a really good job of creating the atmosphere of that. Really, really engaging song, in my personal opinion. I thought that was really good. I'd also say Onyx Drive. Like, I thought that one was really cool. The chorus on that one made me realize that we are in for a good time when it comes to choruses. I thought they did a really good job with the majority of the choruses on this album. But yeah, that one stuck out to me the most. I thought that one was a lot of fun to listen to. And then honestly, I actually really liked the last song, Deceiver. I almost didn't listen to it because, again, like the visualizers were kind of messed up here, but I'm glad I listened to it because I thought that song was really cool. The chorus on that as well was really, really catchy. So again, those are my top 3 songs from Dead Lake's new album, Daydreamer. I was thinking to myself, would I listen to this album like on my own free time? Because obviously, you know, sometimes like the best time for me to listen to music is to do these reactions, because again, life has just been so busy lately. It's hard for me just to sit down and like listen to an album all the way through unless I'm doing a reaction. I would probably only listen to this here if I actually am going on a drive, and obviously, you know, with gas prices right now, at least where I'm at, it's insane. There's no way I can go on a night drive with these gas prices. But in a perfect world where gas was a lot cheaper, I think I would definitely jam this album when I'm driving around. I think this album kind of will put me in the mindset of like just thinking about my life, and I think that's the biggest thing about this album, is that again, they were able to create an atmosphere where it really does kind of make you think about life when you go on that drive and you're thinking about like, how can I improve my life, or how can I be better, how can I improve certain things. And I really like that about this album. If it didn't have that aspect, I think the score would be a little bit lower for me, because again, there's not a lot of variety on this album. Every song structure is essentially the same. It's always just like verse, chorus, bridge, chorus, outro. Like, it's very, like, you're not getting anything spectacular with this. But I do think the vocals really carry the songs, even though, because again, the songs are pretty straightforward, but the vocals kind of mix things up a little bit, which I really enjoy. I thought he has a really good voice, and that part was very enjoyable. So because of the nighttime atmospheric drive feeling to this album, and I think the vocals to this album, I think this is a very good listen. It's not great, it's not terrible, it is just right in the middle. And since it is going to be right in the middle, I'm going to give Dead Lake's debut album, Daydreamer, a 7 out of 10. I think this album is really good, and I think a lot of people will find some accessibility with it, but for me, I thought it was just okay.